Hey gifted crafters, welcome back to Saturday CrafterNoon. I am so excited to be here and a little tired today. Now, I can still call it Saturday CrafterNoon because technically it's still the afternoon. It's not quite the evening just yet. So thank you guys so much for joining. I did have to kind of change up the time a little bit today because we did have a commitment today. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, my name is Nancy with GiftsHQ, and I host these weekly live sessions to talk about all things crafting. And we talk about things like sewing, knitting, crocheting, decoupage, any type of craft. We like to share tips, tricks, ideas. So feel free to drop into the chat, say hello to a couple of friends, share some ideas, and maybe it'll help you out. I know we have some people out there that have maybe an Etsy shop, or maybe they have a craft show coming up, or a birthday, or some kind of little special gifts that you're thinking of doing, but you're not quite sure what to do or where to get started. So this is the perfect place to kind of join in, jump in, have some fun, meet some people, and, just have a good time. So I hope you like today's show. Now, the reason we had to kind of move it out to 5 p.m. today because I had a commitment with my son. So for those of you that know me a little bit well, I have two kids, and one of them is, his name is Herman. And so he has autism, and he competes with Special Olympics. So he does a lot of competitive because he's a super duper competitive child. And when I say competitive, I really mean competitive. He's super competitive. And so we had to kind of take all that energy and throw it into some kind of sport. So we did. And he's been with Special Olympics since he's been in middle school. So quite a number of years, and he loves to compete. So today was our Area 8 stand-up paddleboarding game. So if you are connected with us on Facebook or now even on Threads, you were able to see some of the activity that was going on today. So, this is the picture of him today. He was just paddleboarding today. It was a great competition. He had a fantastic time. Little bit, out of it with everything that's been going on. He hasn't really been training as much as he should be, but we're trying to get back on track. And so today I think was an absolute really important day to kind of get him back into the swing of things. And he was able to compete and did absolutely awesome and grab that first place. So we were super excited and we were so happy for him. So he still got it, still competing, still got it, still going out there. It's just, for those of you who have kids with special needs or grandkids, or maybe know families with kids with special needs, Special Olympics, I hold them really dear to my heart because they are a absolute great organization. It's done a lot for him, for both of my kids actually, and they really have a way of connecting with the people in the community. And we're able to really connect with the coaches, the volunteers. You meet such a great set of people out there. It's just wonderful to connect with them. And, even with the parents, you get to kind of interact with them and you make a lot of friends. And, it's just a really positive environment, and it's absolutely wonderful. You just fall in love with the kids. You really, really do. And it's just a great organization. I truly love it. I truly, truly love it. And we have our little team. It's called 305 Sub, and we did awesome today. So I was really excited. We did have to get up super early this morning to be able to get there on time and get all set up. And it is a lot of work when you're hosting that type of event. We have a lot of volunteers and people that come to help, but it is a lot of work between setting it up, taking care of the kids, making sure everyone goes when they're supposed to go. Safety's always number one priority. So I really love the organization, and they do a fantastic job with the kids. So love it, love it, love it. And I had to kind of take that little break today. I had to move this because I really needed to focus on him to make sure that he can kind of get back on track. So thank you guys so much for accommodating and joining me tonight. So let's jump in. I see a couple of people out there. So I see Amy Bullis, I see Boricua Italian Crafts, Judy Bauer, Karen Bressinger, 1 Minute Tips, Robin's Quilt Basket. Thank you guys for joining. And I was kind of checking the chat a little bit earlier, and I saw that it's Karen's birthday. So happy birthday, Karen! Thank you for joining, and I hope you had a fantastic day. It's absolutely amazing for you to join us today, and I really hope that you guys like today's project. So let me give you a little recap of some of the stuff that we did last week. So last week we talked about pot holders, towel toppers. So I did 2 lives now. The live prior to last week was making a towel topper, and then last week we talked about using pot holders as a towel topper, and it was kind of a quicker way of getting something done and getting that project together. So I was able to make a couple. You can see there it's the little chicken with the little towel on the bottom. We also did a little camper, so it was really cute. So if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and do that. We also covered a couple other things on that live. We did a fabric haul. We looked at a lot of boutique fabrics that were really pretty and that were on sale at Joann. They probably still are because they were on the clearance rack. And then we took a look at one of my favorite books, one of my favorite authors, Debbie Shore. I think I still have her book sitting over here. It was called Half Yard Heaven. And she is a fantastic, amazing person. She's an author. She sews, she has videos and classes and her own website and things like that. And I think she's a ton of knowledge. She's over in the UK, so not in the US, but absolutely amazing woman. I really love her stuff. So if you haven't checked her out, you may want to do that too. So she's really good at that stuff. The other thing that we did that I thought was the topper was we announced our second quarter 2023 Trivia Master Champion. And I believe that we have her on the chat. I did see her. Hi, Amy. I am so happy that you were able to join, and congratulations again. Don't forget to send that email over to us so we can get your gifts over. So she was our top champion that had all of the points. And again, if you're new, we do host in the beginning of each live. I do throw some trivia questions out there. And what you do is you kind of just participate in the chat and just put in your answers. Now, we will keep track of all of the points and post the points out on the community every week so you can see where you stand with your other fellow gifted crafters. And at the end of the quarter, the one with the most points will be our trivia master for that quarter. And Amy did that for this second quarter. So we are now going to go ahead and move forward with the third quarters and questions. And so those are out there and people are starting to put in your answers. So don't forget to jump into that chat and don't be late because you'll want to miss out. You don't want to miss out on those trivia questions. Awesome. Awesome. I see so many things going on in the chat. So don't forget, Amy, to email me for all of your information so I can go ahead and send out that stuff over to you. Excuse me 1 second. I'm going to grab a drink. I think my throat is a little sore. Did a lot of screaming, a lot of cheering this morning. So I am a little bit worn out. So if you're wondering why, that's why. We did have to wake up super early. It was a drive to get to the competition area and then compete, and lots of yelling and screaming, cheering all the other athletes on, and it was just a little too much today. Let's see. Oh, Amy says, our family are huge supporters of Special Olympics. Awesome. My 26-year-old niece competes, and my son and my 2 oldest nephews coached our high school Special Olympics team. Our Special Olympics athletes received varsity athletic letters. Nice, nice. And you know, it's amazing They do so many things with this kid. It's not just about competing. They also take courses like leadership courses. They teach them about how to manage money. They teach them about safety. They teach all kinds of things to these kids, and these kids get opportunities to go out and, you know, travel for competitions. We go to states. Sometimes they travel overseas. You know, there's just so many opportunities, and all of these things are done within that Special Olympics. You see them on your local TV. You know, they've got opportunities to meet, you know, real high-level athletes face to face, spend time with them. I mean, it's just amazing. It's amazing. It's such a positive environment. It really does wonders for them. So if you have someone with special needs and they're not a part of it, you may want to check out, go to the website on Special Olympics. You can check out your local community, and it does show all of the events that are happening. They have calendars out there that will, you know, really tell you all the different sports that are available. They've got things from tennis, swimming, paddleboarding. I mean, you name it. They have just about every sport out there. So it's definitely a fun place to be, and, you know, we really enjoy it. So every now and then, you know, I might have to switch things up a little bit because some kind of competition or something is coming up. But definitely have to put him first. And, you know, he loves it. We love that he loves it. And, you know, we have a great time. So I hope you guys really like what I have planned out for today. I'm going to grab one more sip just before we get started here. So this week, what I wanted to do was talk about an kind of old craft that's been a while. It's been around a long time. Some people may know about it. Some people may not. You know, I think it's a pretty neat thing to do. If you're someone who has photos or maybe special photos of someone that you would like to kind of put up on a wall, you know, you can put it on some kind of nice photo frame. Of course, those are always out there that you can buy a special frame, or you can try to do something a little bit different with it. And so today I thought it would be fun to try to transfer a photo onto wood. And so before we do that, let's take a look at some of the supplies we're going to need. So first thing that you're going to need is, of course, wood, right? And there's all different types that you can use. So I'm going to show you a couple of different examples of what I was able to get. Now, some of these kind of range from different places. So you can pick up wood at your local dollar store. So if you got a Dollar Tree nearby, they sell wood, and they sell all different sizes. So these are some that I did pick up from the Dollar Tree. This is just a, let's see, it's a 5x7 size. So if you have a photo that's a 5x7, perfect size right here to fit. If you're looking for something that has a little bit of a flair to it, you can get something like this that maybe has a little design. And then you can kind of cut your photo around these edges to like have it bleed all the way over, or you can do some type of other effect and have the wood kind of exposed. Maybe you can stain it on the sides, things like that. This is another size that you can get. And I'm going to try to lay them out so that you guys can see them all. These are all ones that you can pick up at the Dollar Tree. Okay, so definitely, you know, lots of choices that are out there. And these make really nice gifts as well. So if you take your photo and, you know, depending on the size photo that you want to do, these are a 5x7. You can also get a larger piece of wood. You may also want to check out maybe your local Home Depot. Sometimes they have scrap wood that they're just giving them away. So you may want to go out and check those out. Now, there's certain types of wood that, you know, you may not want to try for this project because it will not work. You always want to make sure that you pick up some type of a soft wood. So types of soft wood would be something like basswood, pine, maple. Maple is denser, so it's very smooth on the top. So it makes the photo transfer a little bit easier. Then you have other woods that you can get if you don't have a Dollar Tree nearby, or if they don't have any available on their online site. You can also get something like this at a maybe Hobby Lobby, or Amazon may have it as well. And these are just round. They're wood round with bark. So these are actually a little thicker, and you can see the thickness here on that. And it's just round. So it's a medium type wood. It's pretty good for photo transfers. Or another idea that you could do, if you don't want to do just maybe like a photo transfer, another thing that you can do, and you don't want to kind of make it a big size, is you can also get these little round coasters. And you can, maybe if you don't want to do an actual picture, you can do a little design that you have. And you can transfer these and make them as little ornaments, maybe a coaster. You know, there's all kinds of different things that you can do with these. These I actually purchased a long time ago, a couple years ago. I've used a couple here and there. And these are ones that you can just pick up either at Amazon. They have them out there. So many different places that you can pick these types of woods from, and all different sizes. Now, the one that I did, and I'm going to just reach over here, so just give me a second. It's a little larger. And this side, I picked up at Amazon. So it's pretty thick. It does include the bark on the side, which I love. And I wanted to put a really nice picture here. And it's very smooth here to the touch. Now, one of the things that you want to look out for when you're picking your wood is you want to make sure that you don't have any notches. And by notches, you mean those big black marks here. They sometimes will be a little bit of a hole in it. Sometimes it may not, but you want it to try to be as light and as smooth as possible. Because what's going to happen is if you have these dark spots or holes in your wood, it's going to come out on your picture and possibly ruin the image that you're trying to show. So you want to make sure that it's a nice smooth surface, a soft wood. And in this case, I wanted the edges to have some of the bark on here. And then what you can do is on the back side, it's going to be plain, but you can purchase a little sawtooth thing from Home Depot, and then you will be able to just kind of hang that up on the wall. Now, if you want to go ahead and stain it, I would recommend that you do the staining after you've transferred the photo over, because the chemicals from the staining of the wood may impact how your photo transfers over to the wood. So you want to be careful with that. So definitely there's all kinds of pieces of wood that you can get out there. You know, again, you can also check your local wood shop or Home Depot, see if they have any woods that, you know, they're possibly getting rid of. They usually have like a big bin that you can go and just pick out whatever you want, because it's just scrap wood that they're getting rid of, because they do a lot of the cuts for people. So all of that scrap wood kind of gets thrown to the side, and you really don't need all that much. So you may be able to just pull out exactly what you need, and it would be totally free. So definitely something you can check out, or again, go to your local Dollar Tree, try Amazon. I'm sure there's all kinds of places where you can get your wood. Just make sure it's a pretty good quality wood. It's a soft wood, and it doesn't have any notches, and pretty smooth to the touch. So that's one of the things that you really want to look out for when you're starting this type of project. So now let's look at some of the other items that you're going to need. Let me move these over a little bit. So the other most important item you're going to need is Mod Podge. And I'll give you a close-up of it. So there are several different types of Mod Podge that is out there. This Mod Podge happens to be the dishwasher safe Mod Podge. And you've seen I've done a few videos before on decoupage, and I do use the dishwasher safe Mod Podge when I was decoupaging on plates and things like that. I prefer to use, you can use other types of Mod Podge, but I do prefer to use this specific kind. That's the dishwasher safe one when I'm doing my photo transfers. I think it just transfers a little bit better. It's a little bit more liquidy, I guess, for lack of a better word. But I think that this one works a lot better than just a regular Mod Podge. Or the glossy ones that are out there as well. This one's just, for me, it seems to transfer a little bit better, but you know, everybody has different things that they like to try. So you may want to try out different ones. They have the glossy, they have, you know, the one that's not glossy, it's just regular. And then you have this dishwasher, and they have all kinds of other ones too. But dishwasher safe Mod Podge, that's what I'm using in this project. So I'm hoping this one will be one of your favorites too. Now, the other thing that I also use is a brayer. Now, I have this brayer that's from my Cricut machine, but you don't necessarily have to have a Cricut to have this brayer. You can pick up a brayer again at any craft store. Hobby Lobby has them relatively cheap. You may want to check out Temu because they're super, super cheap and not expensive at all to have. This, I think, is a must for this project because the brayer will smooth down the paper onto the wood and eliminate the bubbles that you could get when you're transferring your photo onto the wood. So make sure that you do pick up one of these and you use it carefully when you are doing the project, because you don't want to kind of not use it and end up with bubbles in your photos when you've transferred it over. It really is not too pleasant of a look. So let's see if we have any questions. Please just type them in the chat and I'll try to pick them up as I see them come in. I see a lot of people out there chatting away and exchanging information. That makes me so happy. I'm glad that's what we're all about. So let's see. Oh, Amy says, I'm so glad I tuned in today. Our family farm got hit with a derecho tornado combo last summer, destroying our 125-year-old barn and numerous outbuildings. Oh no, I have a bunch of salvaged wood. Well, there's a little light at the end of the tunnel. You can take that wood and use it to save some of your memories on here. And you know, I think it's great because, you know, once you have it on the wood, it's almost like it's protected more than if you were to just have it in like a photo album, because those photos really can, you know, go bad. And what you can do once you've transferred the image onto the wood, you know, you can also put a layer of protector on it, you know, and it kind of just makes that last like for such a long time. And what I really love about transferring photos onto wood, especially when I have the bark on the side, is if I get these really old photos and you've got these black and white pictures that you can print out, you know, once you have those and you put them on the wood, I think they just look absolutely great, you know, when you're putting it on your wall. I just I like the whole thing kind of put together, like old family photos and things like that. It just has just such a look that I truly enjoy. So, other thing is a laser printer. Now, I don't have a laser printer, so I did pick up my photos from Office Depot. You have Office Max, if you have Staples, any of those type of places, they allow you to kind of go in and you can transfer your image all over to a little thumb drive. And like Office Depot has these self-service machines, so they've got like all these, you know, printers off to the side, and you can literally just put in your thumb drive and print out your photos in whatever different sizes that you want, and then you can use that for your photo transfer. But if you have a laser printer at home, perfect for you, because you can go ahead and just print them out. Now, there are questions on, can you use an inkjet printer to do your photo transfers? Short answer is yes. Long answer is yes, but not really recommended. So there's a big difference between the laser printer and the inkjet printer in terms of photo transferring onto wood. So when you are doing that transfer and you're using, for example, the inkjet printer, your photos are not going to be as vibrant as they would be is if you were using a laser printer, and that's the main difference between the two. So you really want to be careful when you're going to print your photos. You know, depending how vibrant your picture is, you just have to know that if you are going to use the inkjet printer, yes, it will work, but the colors will not be as vibrant as they would if you were using a laser printer. So keep that in mind when you're doing this process. So that's super important, you know, depending on how, you know, you want this to turn out. So I did pick up a couple of pictures, and I'm just going to show you the quality that I got from them. So let me just scoot some stuff over to the side. And I do have some butcher paper kind of down on my table, and I do have a little paintbrush and a couple little local items that any crafter would have in their craft room. But we'll go over that as we do it. Let me just move these over here. And I'm going to slide these over as well. Okay. So these are some photos that I got, and I tried to kind of print out different sizes. And let me just get them all out on here. And I think they were about maybe like 19 cents a copy, so it's really inexpensive. So some of these photos are black and white. So I did find a photo of my dad, and I went ahead and I printed that one out. This one is an 8.5 by 11, and then I kind of cut it down a little bit even smaller because I wanted to kind of fit it a certain way. Other things, you know, that you may want to think about is when you're positioning your pictures onto the wood, you know, you may want to use like maybe your Cricut machine, you know, or stickers or other things that you may want to put around the photo that kind of brightens it up and gives it a little bit of your character in there. So that's something that I'm thinking of doing, and this is just a smaller size. And then you have like vibrant prints like this. So this is a picture of my kids when they were younger. It's very bright. And, you know, this coming out on the wood, if I tried to use an inkjet printer, the colors just wouldn't be the same. So this is what I mean when you are making that decision on the type of printer that you're going to use when you're doing this type of process. So I did come out with a couple, and these are, again, different sizes that you can get. As you can see, you can do landscape or you can do portrait, you know, whichever size would work for you. And then I did do a large print here. This is an 11 by 17, and I will probably just kind of cut that to size as well. So all different things that you can do. I really wanted to just kind of give you an idea of the different things. You can also do 5 by 7s. I did one actually. I did one and I took it to my mom's house to show her the finished item, and I did a 5 by 7 of this picture with my dad. And so I showed it to her. She liked it. She wanted it. She kept it. So I don't have it with me to show you, but you know, she liked it and wanted it. So I went ahead and left it with her so that she could just do it. So now let's talk about the process itself. And I'm going to try to put these over to the side. Let me see if I can stick them over here. And this way. Okay. So the process itself is pretty simple. And I'm going to slide this over here. Now, I'm going to try to keep this a little closer together. So what you need to do is grab your piece of wood that you're going to use. Let's see. I'm going to grab one here. I'm going to actually grab the large one because I really do love this size wood. And as you can see here, this is the one with the bark on the side. You know, it's pretty soft wood here. And this is where I want to be able to position my photo. So like I said, I did get the photo, and I have two different sizes. I do have the 11 by 17, and then I have this smaller size here. And I was trying to decide what I wanted to do with the placement. So I can kind of place them in the middle, maybe add a little bit of decals here, or maybe, you know, something from my Cricut machine that I may want to put on here, some vinyl, and maybe some words down here, maybe have his name or something onto the sides. Or I can try to go with the 11 by 17 and kind of just, it's obviously bigger than the actual piece of wood, but I would have it bleed over and just kind of cut where it needed to be cut, and it would actually be all the way across the wood, and then the bark of the wood here on the side would be the edge. So you just have to kind of cut it out on how you want to do it. If you're looking at maybe a rounder piece of wood, obviously this size would not work. You would have to do something a little bit smaller. Could be something this size, or if you have a 5 by 7 that you can print out, that would work probably even better. So, you know, just kind of work with whatever photo you have and the size, and then look at the size of wood and just feel, you know, whatever kind of appropriate for you to be able to decide how you want things to go. So we have this one that I did do for my mom in a 5 by 7, but like I said, she kind of took it away. So I did have another one, and this is kind of an old wedding photo. See if I find it here. This is an old wedding photo of mine, and so this was the one that I thought maybe I would want to put onto the wood. I am going to do one of my dad as well, similar to the one that I gave my mom, but I wanted to do it on this type of wood that's much thicker onto the side, and I think would look really great. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how to get this done. So the first thing you're going to want to do, and let me grab the other photo. I'll grab this one. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to get some butcher paper or protect your work surface, because you can get a little bit messy on this process and you don't want your work surface to end up suffering. So I just laid out a little bit of butcher paper, and I just kind of taped it down a little bit just to keep it in place. And then you're going to grab your Mod Podge, and taking this Mod Podge, I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to grab my little sponge, and all you're going to do is you're going to try to place nice long even strokes on top of the photo. Now, one thing I neglected to tell you, some people will take the photo and flip it so that when you put it on the wood, it works. In this case, I don't need to flip it because the type of photo that I'm using really doesn't require it to be flipped. But I would recommend that you do, and you know, just mirror that image. If you have your photo, if you can mirror it before you print it, that would be great. In this case, just because of the way the photo is, there's no background. It's, you know, it kind of really doesn't matter if he's looking this way or looking that way. So, you know, I didn't mirror it. I thought it was fine, and it turned out fine on when I transferred it. So we're just going to go ahead and put this on here. I'm going to go ahead and take my brush, and I will go ahead and just do nice long strokes on the photo. And don't feel like you need to use like thin coats or anything like that. Use nice thick coats, but it doesn't have to be like that thick. Just, you know, moderate amount, and nice long even strokes is what you're going to want. And then just cover the photo completely with the Mod Podge. Okay. And you're going to want to make sure that everything is covered. So we'll Just go ahead and do it a couple of times. Make sure it is not too dry, because if it is dry, it will not transfer. Okay, so once you've gotten this all covered up, one thing you can do is take your wood, position it, and flatten it. That's one way of doing it. Not really a fan of doing it that way. I kind of like to pick it up and see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it up here very carefully onto the edge, and I am going to position it, and I'll just kind of fold it, try to find my center here, and I'm just kind of eyeballing it. So I'll lay it down, and then from working from the center, pushing out, I'll go ahead and smooth it out to remove any bubbles that may be on there. Now this is where your brayer kind of comes in. So you want to take that brayer and you're going to want to roll it, starting from the center, nice and even. Making sure that it's nice and flat onto that wood. Okay. Go ahead and work it out completely. And you can also use your hands as well. Make sure it's nice and flat. You may get a little bit of Mod Podge coming out on the edges, but that's okay, because Mod Podge will dry clear, so it does not impact the project. So I do a little bit with my hands, and then I kind of go back to the brayer, and I'll do that kind of back and forth for a good maybe 5 minutes or so, just making sure that it is nice and flat and adhered to the wood. So let me just see if there's any questions out there. Let's see. Boricua Sewing and Crafts says, that's our daddy. He was in the army. Yes, PFC. 1 minute tip says, your kids are so cute. Oh, thank you. Nice pictures memory from Judy. Yeah, and I think by kind of just leaving it and not covering the entire wood, it allows you to then kind of use your Cricut machine or however you want to design it. You can kind of add a little bit of something around it. So I think it's neat. Now, another thing that you can do is before you apply the Mod Podge onto the photo, you may want to think about giving it maybe a little bit of that tear effect. And what I mean by that is I would take like maybe, let's see if I have one here, like a little water brush, and you would fill it with water. And then what you would do is just kind of go around the photo, and you would wet it. And so then you would kind of pull or tear away the actual photo from the entire thing. So like you're basically tearing off the edges, and it almost makes it look like it's kind of falling off of the wood. You know, it's got that tear effect, like it's part of the wood at the end, because it's got that tear effect, and it doesn't look like a solid line going across. So it kind of gives it that effect, and I think it's a really nice effect that you can have with that. It's just something that you may want to try. Some people are a little bit nervous about doing that because they don't want to tear up their photos, but I promise you, you know, it's just a printout. You can always print it again and start it again. I know I had some failures as I was doing the process, so definitely, you know, it does take a little bit of time, a little bit of patience to get this done, but I think it's a really nice project that you can do with your friends, your family. You know, if you're just home one day, you know, it's something, if you want to preserve those photos, I think it's a great way to do that. So I'm going to move my butcher paper over a little bit. See if I can fold it over, just to kind of get it out of the way so I can slide this over. as you can see here, the wood and the photo paper is starting to change just a little bit. You see how it has like these little dark pieces here. And what you're going to want to do is make sure that this dries completely. So you may want to leave it overnight, and then tomorrow you'd be able to finish the project. Or you could be a little impatient like I am and you can take your blow dryer, or if you have a heat gun, you can do it as well, but you have to be very careful with the heat gun. You can't allow your heat gun to just kind of sit in one spot for too long because you will burn it. So I think it's a little safer if you do it with a blow dryer and just kind of blow dry the area until the paper is completely dry. So definitely you want to try that. And then what you're going to do once this is completely dry is you're going to just grab a little terry cloth. Let's see if we got oh, this one's wet. This one right here. Just a simple little terry cloth, nothing special. Cotton is what you're going to want. And what you're going to want to do is grab a little bowl of water, just like this. And you're going to want to, I'm going to put this actually over on the top here so you guys can see it. And what you're going to want to do is just kind of take your terry cloth and you're going to dip it into the water. What I like to do is dip the entire rag in the water and then just kind of lay it flat onto your surface. Let it get nice and wet and just kind of pat it down dry a little bit. And then once I'll do that, I'll lift it and then I'll focus on a specific area. And you're going to want to wet this and you're going to want to rub this. And what you're basically doing is rubbing the paper off. And what ends up happening is your image will stay on the wood. So you'll be rubbing the paper off and it can get a little messy. I can guarantee you it will be messy because you'll have those little fibers of paper that'll be flaking off. But once you've rubbed all of the paper off, you're going to be left with your image on the wood. And it's a great way to kind of keep your memories onto that wood. Now, when you do that, it is a little time consuming. So you do have to sit there and rub all of that paper off. Some people use their hands. Some people will use the cloth. I find it easier to just use it with the cloth and just take it a little section at a time to do that. And then as you rub it off, you're going to see that the picture is kind of getting exposed. So I'm going to show you one that's kind of in progress and it's not quite done yet, but I'll show you what it looks like when you're rubbing it off. So this is a small round wood that I'm using. And as you can see here, I've got the image here, but I don't have all of the paper off. I'm still kind of working through that. So I'm going to just show you what that looks like. So if I take this and I'm going to just wet that a little bit here, and I'm going to go around so you can see the photo a little better as it's wet. And you can see how that picture kind of just popped right back out because it's a little bit damper now. So you can see this is my daughter. She was like 1 year old and we were at my sister's house. This is when my son was getting baptized. So, so she had a little dolly with her, and you know, that's her little Miss Dolly that she's had for many, many years. Drove us all insane because she loved that dolly to death and wouldn't leave without it anywhere. So that's just a fun picture I thought I'd put on this little round piece of wood that I got from the dollar store. In this case, they have the little plastic piece with a nail on here. So I just may leave that and use this to hang on to it. Or like I said, you can buy a little sawtooth from Home Depot and apply it in the back. And then that would be a great way to just kind of hang it up. Or again, you could use it as a coaster or as a table topper. So there's so many different things that you can use it for. So what I'm doing here now is I'm going to go ahead and keep taking this and dunking it, and then just continue to do a motion to get all of the paper off. And then once I'm happy that all of the paper has gotten off of the actual wood, I'll kind of rub it down with my hands, And then you may want to consider just using either another layer of Mod Podge on top just to kind of protect it, or what you can do is they have these high gloss sprays that you can do, so you can spray it on top as well. So that's another way of kind of protecting it so that it won't get damaged. But again, very quick and easy. So this is what it kind of looks like when you're kind of almost done. You've got, you know, most of the stuff. I still have a little bit of paper here and the edges that I want to kind of clean up as well. And then I may just stain it a little bit, maybe stain the edges as well. I'm not sure. So I'm going to kind of see what I do with this. But I thought this was another quick project that you guys can make. And, you know, it's really neat and helps you just kind of put your important photos together and is able to kind of give it as a gift as well. So let's see. I see a lot of comments out there. Oh, my hubby uses his fingers and rubs them near raw. Oh boy. My hubby lets them dry overnight. Yeah, I like that you know, if you can leave it overnight, that's probably one of the best things to do. But, you know, I get a little impatient, so I can always take out the heat gun or the hair dryer, and that works, right? So, so that's just another option that you have. So I'm going to show you what it looks like once you have waited the 24 hours. Because I did have this one here. Let me set the water over to the side. I did have this piece of wood. You see it's pretty thick with the bark on the side. And I did put one of the pictures on here. And what I did was I went ahead and Mod Podged it. I did a little bit of the blow dryer and I kind of like left it a little bit. And I think it's pretty well dried. I mean, you can feel it to the touch that it does feel nice and dry on here. It's been sitting for a little bit. So I think this is one that's ready to now for me to take the towel and start wetting and having the image appear. So let me just show you what it looks like when you first start off to do that. Because as you can see here, it's pretty plain and it looks like there's not anything underneath there. But I'll show you what the reveal looks like. I'm going to just dunk my towel into this little bowl of water that I have. And I'm really going to dunk it and kind of squeeze out the excess water. And then I'm just going to take this towel, I'm going to put it right on top and just pat it down. This is just what I like to do to get it started. So you can see here now, it's starting to reveal that there's something behind there. And so I will gently start to rub. Let's see if I can turn this a little bit. Get this side a little bit better. And you just got to keep going at it. So now that the entire project is a little bit moist, now I'm going to go ahead and take my towel and just start working the little pieces. And you can see I can start working it with my finger here. Now let's show you that a little bit better. So if I kind of rub a little bit, you'll see that the paper is starting to come off. And you're starting to see an image there behind it that's starting to appear. So that's something you can do it this way, or there's some people that kind of prefer this method. But you want to be careful that you don't rub it too hard because you could rip it. So be a little careful on that. So as you go down, you know, just go ahead and do it like this. Now I'm going to put it down here. Kind of see if I can do this here. And as you can see it makes quite a mess because it does get all this paper out. So you kind of just got to work it all the way down. I'm going to see if I can just do a little bit here just so you guys get the idea. You can see on this side how the image is coming out. And let me just dunk this a little bit more. I want to make sure that my towel is nice and moist because it makes it a little bit easier to rub off. You can see that here coming off like that. So you can see all the paper, the fibers that are just coming off. And what I liked about doing this size of a photo is I wanted to have the effect of the photo kind of blended in with the bark. So one thing you can do if you're not sure on how to cut out the size of any project that you're doing is I went ahead and I took a little X-Acto knife and I just kind of followed the edges of the bark itself, not so much the line of the photo, right? So you want to just kind of give it that illusion that it's part of the wood. And so I did that and just kind of kept all that together. And you can see here, starting to get something here. You see how that's kind of coming together. Okay. Oh, I see Judy has a question. Nancy, do you have more info on that thread site that you sent out? So yeah, so if you guys are part of the Facebook group, you may have heard that there's a new social media platform that's out there that's called Threads. So it's kind of similar to like a Facebook, Instagram type of environment. And so I went ahead and signed up. You know, it's if you know Twitter, it's almost exactly like Twitter. Let's just say that. You know, so I went ahead and I signed up us to kind of be on that platform. So it's just another platform where you can kind of share, you know, all kinds of ideas and pictures, you know, so just think of it like Twitter. It's just another platform that's out there. And so I went ahead and signed up for it. So if you are interested in signing up for that platform, you know, you can definitely see some stuff that I may have posted out there as well. So it's just another platform where you can communicate and you can, you know, see what's going on out there. So I went ahead and signed it up and we're out there and I'm able to kind of throw some stuff out there. So, you know, if you're interested in catching us in there, it's the same name, GiftsHQ. So you'll see us out there in that environment as well. We'll continue to post in Facebook and Instagram and the other platforms as well. So this is just another one that, you know, you may want to join in on the fun on. So I hope you guys like that. So I just wanted to share that because it's a relatively new platform. It just started and a lot of people are just kind of getting their self set up in there. So if you have your own YouTube channel, you may want to consider, you know, putting that platform on for yourself as well, because it's just another area where you can communicate out with other people. So like I said, very messy process, but as you can see, the image is coming out on the wood. Now I wasn't going to do the whole thing. I figured I would do half since this is so big, but you know, I think you're getting the gist of it. So you can see here, I got a large part of it. Now I still have a little bit to go. I'll still come back and do another round of rubbing to make sure that all of the paper comes off. But as you can see here, it's already looking really nice. Like you can see the edges here onto the bark. Now I've got some cleanup to do here once I take the paper off. And then once I've completely taken all the paper off of the wood, you know, I plan on just putting another layer of Mod Podge to protect it and maybe a little gloss on it just to make it a little glossy. And then I really have a nice photo that I can now put on my wall, and it's made on wood, so it'll last for a super, super long time. So you can see it works. You know, it's something that you can work on. It's relatively simple. It does make a big mess. So you can see here, we've got quite a mess of paper, but you know, it's an easy cleanup. Once you can clean this all up, you can just kind of throw that part out and you know, it's not too bad. But it's definitely something that you would want to do, and I think, you know, it's a lot of fun. You know, kids may think of it as magical, so it's a fun project to do with them as well. You know, and it's relatively simple. Mod Podge, some water, a brayer, you know, and the wood, and maybe the kids can have their own little favorite photos or characters that you can print out with your printer and just put them on the wood. And I think the kids would just get a kick out of that. So I think it's a lot of fun. Alrighty, 1 minute tip said, is that you, Miss Nancy? Yes, it is. Yes, this is actually my wedding picture. We got married in New York. So this was one of the pictures from that event. So yeah, it is. And you know, I've got some paper still to take off on here. But what I'll do is, once I've taken all the paper off and I shellac it, I'll go ahead and I'll put a picture of the finished product out there on Facebook and Threads. So if you haven't signed up, please go ahead and sign up so you can see the finished project and share the projects that you guys make. So I really love to see what they look like and what you guys make with the information that I'm sharing with you. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. You know, this is just a quick little project. It can be a great gift idea, especially with upcoming holidays like Christmas and things like that. So I hope you really enjoyed it and were able to follow along. If you don't have the supplies with you, just go ahead and gather your supplies and then just watch the replay. So I hope you really enjoyed today's session, and thank you guys so much for joining. And I hope to be crafting with you soon. And don't forget, Amy, contact me because we want to get you your 2Q23 Trivia Master prize over to you. Thank you guys, and hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.